Evening folks, video 3. As you'll notice, it's starting a bit different. We have got some bullet points for you. A chap on the Tiger 800 forum that I've been speaking to says it would be handy for him if I'd put some bits and bobs so he could write it down or take a photo of it or whatever. And I do think it's a good idea. I hadn't thought of it, and here they are, so you can look at it and sort of like figure it out for yourself. I still find it's going to be easier for you to do it on a video, and that's why I'm doing these videos rather than there's plenty of sites out there that tell you how to use Basecamp. There's plenty of manuals for Basecamp, but you try reading through them and then trying to do it on the actual Basecamp software itself. If you've got somebody that's doing it on a video, you can pause the video, rewind it, fast forward it, and you can do it off a video, and you can actually see what's being done on screen, which is better. So tonight we're going to do waypoints and shaping points. Waypoints are a ball ache, shaping points are brilliant. That's all you need to know, really. On the screen is the difference. Waypoints are markers that can be loaded into Basecamp by you, and you can add extra info to that waypoint, such as phone numbers and addresses. So every time you click on the map to add a new waypoint, that waypoint is loaded into Basecamp and it will stay in Basecamp until you delete it from Basecamp. Waypoints are always alerting points, so when you're on your day ride out and you've clicked 100 waypoints on your route, you are going to be alerted 100 times every time you pass that waypoint. There's no way you can get rid of it. You can relabel them, but they are still going to alert you. The difference between a waypoint and a shaping point is shaping points are a point on a route that you will require that route is changing direction. So if you definitely want to go down a minor road, for say, you've got to put a shaping point on that minor road, otherwise your sat nav's not going to go down it, because it thinks, why the hell would you want to go down a minor road that's going to take you a lot longer to get down to where you want to be than sitting on a motorway. So if you've got Edinburgh to London and you've only got 2 shaping points on your route, Edinburgh and London, then the sat-nav is basically going to calculate as an A to B sat-nav, as a normal car sat-nav would. The only way it's going to run to where you want it to go is to add shaping points, which is the whole idea of Basecamp, in my opinion. So you can manipulate a map to send it where you want to go. So shaping points are a necessity, and the more you've got on your map, the better. Especially you've got to put them onto every road you want to go down, and they can also be alerting or non-alerting, which is a damn sight better than a waypoint can be, because waypoints are always alerting. So you don't want to, it's alright you clicking shaping points here, there and everywhere on every single road over a 500-mile route, but what you don't want is, you don't want your sat nav pinging up every time you come up to a shaping point. So shaping points can be turned off, so they're non-alerting. They're still there, but you're not going to know about them. And they can also be renamed. So basically a shaping point is just the same as a waypoint. The only difference is when you delete your route, all your shaping points disappear with it, which is fine because they're part of that route. They're not going to stick onto your Garmin Basecamp, clogging Garmin Basecamp up like waypoints do. Points of interest, I think everybody knows what they are. They're already loaded into Basecamp, they're already loaded into your sat-nav. The points of interest like car parks, hotels, this, that and the other, scenic views. They change when Garmin changed them. You can't change points of interest as far as I'm aware. So points of interest can't be changed, waypoints can't be turned off, and shaping points you can basically do what the hell you like with them. You can turn them off, you can turn them on, you can rename them, you can delete them, you can add them, which is why I'm going to focus on shaping points, because they are a lot easier to use than any of the others. So right, I'll bring this back up at the end just so you can see it. I'm going to use the map that we drew in day 2 just for ease. and we're going to start with adding an extra shaping point into a map that you've already drawn. So we've already drawn this map, and we found that there's a decent cafe here, and we want to add a new point, a new shaping point on this road, and it's not on it at the minute. So what we're first going to do is make sure that we can use this map, and the way that we do that is just to left click once on the actual day map itself, and you'll notice that everything becomes live. You get your arrows, and it becomes a darker, it's got some black bold lines either side of your purple, if you notice. If it goes, everything's gone. If you click it, you're ready to map. You'll also know that these come live as well. If they're dead, then you're not ready to map. If you click that once, you're ready to map, you're ready to move, you're ready to erase. That's all we're going to use. Insert a point, move a point, get rid of a point. They're the only three that you need. So to insert a point, obviously you left click, your pen comes up, and you're ready to insert a new point. When you hover between 2 points, you get your line. Any 2 points, don't matter where they are. So what you want to do is, if we want to drop a point here, we need to be hovering between the 2 points either side of that road. So we're going to be looking at this one. So you left click, when your black line comes on, you can left click and let go, just click, and that will bring up a stretchy pen, a stretchy line, a bungee cord. You can then add a shaping point to any point on the map. So we're going to add it. We know there's a cafe down here, and we want to add a shaping point to it. So we hover over the road, as I say, zoom in because it's going to be more accurate. Left click, and that will add it to it. Zoom back out, and you can see it's added it. You spring your thing still on. When you want to get rid of it, right click, and then you're alright again to carry on either adding more. So if you wanted to add something here for some reason, you'd hover over it till it drops black, left click, come up, left click again, and it will drop it in. It will map the fastest route. The reason it's come up this way is because there's no road there. That is the only reason. It's basically a straight line look. If I'd have done that on a road, let me get rid of that because that's not a great example. Let me get rid of that and go up to a road. So we're going to scan up, scroll up using the cursors, and we're going to hover here because this is the 2 points, and we're going to put another point here. So you're going to hover until your black line comes up. We're going to left click, and we're going to drop left click again, and you'll notice that it's gone up there to come back down to carry on. Right click gets rid of it. So now our route is going to go up here. Let me just get rid of that. It's going to come up here to come back down, to carry on, to come down here, back on and back. What we haven't done is figured out whether it's going to alert us to this cafe here or not, and whether or not we've labelled it, which we haven't. So the way that we do that is we double click on this. This brings all the shaping points up that you've clicked on that map. So every time you've done a left click to map the route to start with, every left click that you've done is here, and they are labelled in road name. The top one is in bold, the bottom one is in bold. You can't get them to non-alert. They're always alerting because it's a start and finish point of the route. You can't get them to non-alert. You can change the names of them by double clicking them, and you can change the name to start, which is now start, and you can go down to the bottom, double click, change the name to finish or end, double click, left click, sorry, and that will now, so now you've got start and finish point. Your start will be alerted, your finish will be alerted, but what you'll notice is everything in between is coming up, won't alert, won't alert, won't alert, all of them, all the way down. So it doesn't matter if you've got 10 points or 20 points, like this route is, or 1,000 points. If all these are won't alert, the only time your sat nav is going to ping up at you is at the start and the finish, because they're the only two that are alerting at the minute. But we want our cafe to be alerted, so we need to find it. We need to find which point it is. So if you left click once on all these, you'll notice that this starts moving, and it's always centered so you can find it while you're clicking through them. So you keep scrolling until you find which one it is. So it's not that one. Keep scrolling down. Is it that one? Yes, it is. So once you've found it, it's called Forest Walk at the minute and it's not alerting you. We want to call it Cafe and we want it to alert us. So we're going to right click, alert on arrival. That then sends that to black, a boulder black. So now we know it's going to alert us because the won't alert has gone, but it's still called Forest Walk. So how do you change the name? Double left click, as we did on the start and the finish. Call it Cafe. OK, done. So the three things that are going to alert us now are the start, all these extra bits that we're clicking on to map the route precisely aren't going to alert us. The cafe is, because it's in bold and it's not got the won't alert at the side of it. And then all afternoon we're not going to get alerted again until we get to the finish. And the finish, as I said, with a like a waypoint, you could actually name that hotel whatever and put a phone number in there or something, and that will come up on your sat nav screen, the same as cafe will come up on your sat nav screen. All these won't, but at the end you could put hotel, number of the hotel, name of the hotel, and you know what you're looking for without stopping, getting your book out for your night's hotels or campsite or whatever. It's all going to come up on your sat nav screen until you get there, and that is adding. Okay. Right, we'll go on to moving a waypoint. So we're going to stick with this one because it's a good one to stick with. So our endpoint here, the endpoint of the route, is our hotel. But we've zoomed right in and we've figured out that the hotel is in the wrong place. It's not here, it's not there, it's down here. So we need to move this endpoint just to extend the route slightly to make sure we're going to get right outside the door of the hotel. So we're going to go to move point instead of insert. Move a point. To move a point, you just go up to the point you want to move and it changes into black, into a dark black. Click and hold. Drag to where you want to go. Let go. It will then move that point. The point hasn't changed name or anything like that. You've basically just moved it. So if you want to, if it's still not in the right place, probably because you've not zoomed in fully. Okay, because if you look at this one here, fully zoomed in, it's just slightly off the road. That's no good because when you're coming down, you're going to come up to come back, to come down. So what you want to do is you want to click it, hold it, drag it and drop it on the road, fully zoomed in, and that way you're going to pass straight over it and it's not going to be a problem. So that's moving a point. The doddle to do, you can hover over it, click it, drag it wherever you like and drop it, and that goes for any of them. Click, drag, drop. You just need to make sure that when you've zoomed all the way in, I've done that one on purpose, that one's well off the road. So when you're coming along your route, you're going to come along. Your sat nav's then going to think, right, we need to angle right here, down, to come back up to carry on, which is a load of bollocks because you don't want to be doing that. So you click it, hold it, drag it, make sure it's on the road, let go, and it's going to get rid of that and it's going to drop you straight back on the road. Okay, and that is basically moving a point. You can move a point soft as anything like that. You can just hover over them and move them. If you want to erase a point, even easier. You've put too many in, or for some reason you want to get rid of it. You've decided that you don't want to go to cafe anymore. All you're going to do is go up to erase, left click, hover it until it comes up with the red cross, left click, and that's going to recalculate it minus that bit that you've just took out. And the same with this. If you don't want this endpoint down here and you've decided that the hotel is actually back up here somewhere, you can either move it, so we're going to move, scroll down, click, drag, drop, and that will move it, or we can erase it simply by going to erase, hover over it, click it, it'll recalculate back to the next shaping point. If you've gone too far and you want to carry on with your route rather than move it, sometimes it's just easier to move it. To be fair, you can grab hold of it and just drop it and it extends your route. But if you want to add any more in, the way you go about it is insert and you hover over it until it comes up. Instead of the line, which is inserting an extra point, if you want to carry on with the route, you thought you'd done your route, you've saved your route, you think it's done, but somebody says, oh well, we may as well carry on an extra 15-20 minutes. You can continue with your route by, instead of inserting an extra point within the route you've already done, you actually hover over it until it becomes a really big black circle like that instead of the line. As soon as the big black circle comes on, left click once and you're back to where you were as we were on day 2, and then it's basically a case of click, click, click and carry on like that, you see, and then to get rid of your line, right click. That's about it for shaping points. So if you want to see them all, you double click on here and it brings them all up. You can see which ones are going to alert and you can see which ones aren't going to alert. So we've only got the start, we've got rid of that cafe, so that's gone out of here as well. But if we wanted Lilybank Guest House to be alerted, you'd right click it, alert, double click it, and you could rename it whatever. We'll leave it like that. So that's that. Waypoints. I'm just going to quickly whiz over waypoints because I don't think they're needed, but I'm going to do it anyway just so I can show you. I'll zoom out. Waypoint. If you want to drop a waypoint anywhere on a map, you click new waypoint anywhere on here and you drop it. Okay, that is now dropped a waypoint in. Note, it's not calculated it. It is a point on a map that you have added in addition to all the other points of interest that Garmin have done. It's not a routing point or a shaping point. It is just a waypoint. So if you want to manipulate that, you can double click it and you can manipulate it. But the way you calculate to it is that waypoint will drop into your sat nav and you have to physically go and find it in your sat nav. As far as I'm aware, there's no other way of doing it. Which is why it's a ball ache and which is why I don't use them, because it's much easier, just get rid of that, it's much easier to go to your route and add a point, you hover in between the two that you think it is like this, you click once and you can actually drop it to there anyway and it's going to take you straight to it and it automatically draws it on your route. Right click and it gets rid of all this crap. So now you've got another routing point or another shaping point up here instead of this waypoint. This waypoint's not doing anything. You could drop another one in here and it's only doing exactly the same as that waypoint's done, but you've got to physically faff about going into your sat nav to figure out what waypoint it is, where it is, and then you can navigate to it. There's just no need for them, so I won't worry yourself about waypoints. Just stick to shaping points and you won't go far wrong. Back to the document then. So just to recap, this is more for the Tiger 800 man. Thanks very much. Shaping points. If you want to add them into a route, you left click and let go, and then you click on the position you want to add a new shaping point, and that will then add a shaping point in. It will auto recalculate the route for you. There's no messing about. If you want to move it, it's not quite in the right position, you left click and you hold and then you drag it to the point that you want to move it to and then you let it go and that will move the point. And if you want to delete it altogether, you go up to your delete button Same with these, you need to click your insert, your move or your delete. They're the only three that we use: insert, move, delete. Go to delete one, which is there, click delete, hover over it, click delete, gone, done. Same with move. If you want to move within a route, you go to move. I want to move that one there, I want to move it to here. Click it, hold it, drag it, drop it. If I want to insert one, add one to the route, you left click, click on the position you want to add one. So you go to insert, you hover over in between your two bars. Remember, it needs to be, if you want to go up here, you need to hover in between the 2 points that are closest to it, not somewhere down here obviously. Click it, left click, drag it to where, let it pull itself to where you want it to. I ain't got my fingers on the mouse. Click again and it's going to move you the fastest way to that point, but because this point's off road, it's a straight line basically. It's following that road there as far as the road goes, so it's using the best road possible until you start going off road, and then it becomes a straight line. Get rid of the tag, right click. So that's that. So I'll leave that bit on there for the screen for a few minutes, and then you can have a mess about with that. But that is shaping points and waypoints, and that's all we're going to do today. If there's any questions, you can always ask the questions on YouTube on the comments, but apart from that, it's ta-da from me. Next time I'm going to go into Basecamp and I'm going to start showing you how to make this route and get it onto your sat-nav, and I'm going to start showing it on your sat-nav, because you're quite capable now of click, 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 click. Capable of moving them about, you're capable of deleting them, you're capable of adding extra ones in wherever you want to add extra ones into. The only thing that you're not done yet is transfer it to your sat-nav and make sure it's good on your sat-nav, which is obviously the most important bit, because you're going to be following it. Down at the bottom here, it will tell you your total distance and your total time. Your time, when it gets transferred to your sat-nav, will vary. All sat-navs do. Don't know why. I've asked Garmin Tech and they don't know why your time changes. It could be less, it could be more, but your distance, if you've gone through all your routing points, all your shaping points, and they're all on the road, like this one is, and you've scrolled through them all, and they're all on the road, the easiest way to scroll through them is double clicking on here, and you skip through them all like this. Like that one there is slightly off the road. So what you'd have to do there is you'd have to move. So you click move, grab it, move it, drop it, done. Scroll through them all, make sure they're all on the road, and then they'll be good to go when you get them onto your sat-nav. And your distance should not change when it goes to your sat-nav. If your distance is 32.0, which it is here, it should be 32.0 when it gets loaded onto your sat-nav. But I'll go into that next video. Okay, I'll leave that on the screen for you, and I'll see you later.